Right, today we are going to talk about a very controversial topic, so stay tuned. This is your favorite half Chinese. Click that like button and let's start right now. We are going to talk about forced labor, or the accusations of Canada of forced labor in China, to be specific, Xinjiang region, and specifically targeting Uyghurs. Now let's first listen, because this is what Canada brought up. Let's just first listen to what Michael Ma from their government had to ask.
Do you have an advanced degree in technology and cybersecurity? Yes or no?
No, but I have spent.
Like I said, I need to get short answers,
business.
Please.
Okay.
The other one is you belong to the China Strategic Risk Institute. So does this institute specifically look for risk when there isn't one? Yes or no?
No.
So why is it a risk institute?
Because it analyzes risks that are obviously there.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are any Canadians, do you maybe know what the risks are that are obviously there? Please let me know. Drop it in the comment section. I really wonder what those risks actually are, because I am not aware of them.
So the last question then is, you claim about forced labor in Xinjiang. Have you witnessed this yourself? Have you been there ever?
I've been to China many times.
Have you witnessed
since
forced labor in
1979?
Have you witnessed just a short answer. Have you witnessed forced labor in Xinjiang? Yes or no? So did you get that from hearsay?
With Human Rights Watch, where researchers did witness it.
So thank you. I like to set the record.
Yeah, so he goes further because he needed to answer some questions about, he didn't take any part. He just was asking, very normal thing, did you witness? Because they are about that, right? So they're talking about this actual report here, study of supply chain risk related to Xinjiang forced labor. Now, obviously, she did not witness, right? Because she couldn't even decently say, no, Mr. Ma, I have never witnessed forced labor in Xinjiang. She just turning around it. I've been to China many times. That's not what he asked. Why are you not saying that you've been to Germany several times? Because it's not question related, right? So why would you say I've been to China? You should say, yes, Mr. Ma, I've seen it, or no, Mr. Ma, I have not seen it. Clear. Anyway, she had not seen it. I think we safely can assume that. Let's continue to something else, because I have been into this piece of something, and I have found a witness, a very, very famous witness. And today we are going to discuss this beautiful witness. And this beautiful witness gave a statement or interview in the Daily Mail in 2019, the 22nd of October. And she also did one in the BBC. But we're going to talk about this one here, because I used this one also in an earlier video. And I like to stay true to my sources. Did you guys click that like button yet? I also want you to know that I have also a buy me a coffee for the people that want to support my work, but only support it if you can. If you do not have enough money, please do not support me with money, but just with a like and a share. That will mean just as much to me. Let's continue. So it is about Seragul, South Bay, at that time 43. During her time at the camp, she witnessed an elderly woman who had her skin flayed off and fingernails pulled out for a minor act of defiance. A woman who was as aid interned by guards as part of a forced confession, and prisoners who suffered memory losses and infertility after being given mysterious injections. And further, she says, South Bay said tortures included being forced to sit on a chair covered with nails, beatings with electrified truncheons, and having fingernails torn out. That sounds horrible, right? And then they have a lot of pictures to make you feel sorry. This is from a prisoner relocation. And this is, I don't know, this could be a prison, but I don't think it is a prison. I think it is a factory, considering the construction. A prison would most likely be totally with walls instead of like that. And also they have Mike Pompeo. And Mike Pompeo says, Pompeo compares China's Xinjiang region to Orwell's 1984. But Pompeo also said this.
I was a cadet. What's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
So far for Pompeo, but here we go. So here they place two pictures of her being in some kind of facility with a lot of authority around it. Makes you think that this is Chinese authorities, but it is not. Here it says, Serago South Bay, pictured in July 2018, was arrested by Kazakh authorities for crossing the border illegally and was denied asylum 3 times. She was arrested by Kazakh authorities for crossing the border illegally. So that's a crime. And this is the Kazakhstan authorities. It's very important to remember that, so you understand what it is later. It will come all together. Sorry, English is not my first language. All right. So let's go to the following. Here we have another article. I remember the other one was from 2019. This one is from August 2nd, 2018. And again, with a picture of the Kazakhstan authorities holding her, right, in court. It's so weird when they're talking about China. Anyway, for months, Serago South Bay worked inside teaching Mandarin and propaganda to Muslim detainees, swept up in a broad Chinese campaign to eradicate what Beijing calls extremism. They need to add Chinese campaign. Why don't you just write campaign, right? So to Muslim detainees swept up in a broad Chinese campaign to eradicate what Beijing calls extremism. Well, actually, there was a lot of extremism. But here, this is very important. Here she says she did not personally see violence, although she did see hunger. Detainees had only 3 kids. Detainees had only 3 kinds of food: rice soup, vegetable soup, and naan bread. There was no meat. There was never enough to eat. People were malnourished, Miss South Bay said. Now, it's very important to remember that she did not personally see violence. Remember that? That's odd, because right here, she said that the 3rd paragraph, she said about all sorts of torture that she witnessed, right? Now here comes the kicker. The other article says, according to her, about extremities, right? Said it is thought China started its crackdown on the minority Turkic Muslim group in 2016 after a series of terror attacks by extremists. Yes, there were terror attacks. It is not something ambiguous. It is well documented. You can just look it up. There are a lot of terrorist attacks. And a lot of times when you see these people talking about these kind of events, they are actually talking about terror attacks, but they are framing it like it is a peaceful protest. Only in their vision of peaceful protest, people are being stabbed in the neck, beaten to death with clubs, etc., and all sorts of terrorist behavior. That is why when you hear people talking about these kind of things, sometimes it is interesting to just fact check and see what that event really was about instead of just directly believing it. So here we are. Then in November 2017, she was bundled into a vehicle and driven to one of the camps where she was made to sign a piece of paper promising to teach her fellow inmates under penalty of death for failing to comply. Now, why would the authorities in China just randomly pick up somebody from the street, bundle them? What does that mean? This is so weird. And then send them to a camp to force them to teach Mandarin. That's just the weirdest thing. And mind you, she is actually a Kazakh. She's not a Han Chinese, right? And why would you force them to do that? Anyway, here is where it becomes interesting. The document stated that it was forbidden to speak with the prisoners, forbidden to laugh, forbidden to cry, and forbidden to answer questions from anyone, she said. Now, I'm sorry that I had to laugh because it's quite a serious topic, but you cannot blame me for laughing if in one paragraph they're saying that she was made to sign a piece of paper promising to teach her fellow inmates under penalty of death for failing to comply. So what was she teaching? She was forced to teach them Mandarin. Why exactly would they want her, specifically her, force her to teach them Mandarin? The document stated that it was forbidden to speak with the prisoners and to answer questions from anyone. Now, how are you going to teach? How can you teach anything if you're forbidden to speak and forbidden to answer questions from anyone? That is why I had to laugh. Just tell me. Honestly, Daily Mail, what were you thinking when you were writing this? Or didn't you use your brain at all? I mean, it is kind of ridiculous to think that this is remotely credible, but this is what Westerners use and what they call Western governments. I use them, I would prefer to call them puppets of the capitalist, because they're not governing the people. They are, let's just not get into that. What do you think? Do you think that her claims are actually factual or not? Let's see more about really what's going on. Reality check. April 2016. Seiragul South Bay was appointed head of the Central Kindergarten of Chahanwusu Town, Chaoshu County, in Li Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture. On March 19, 2018, she became an elementary school teacher in Chahanwusu. It's very difficult for me to pronounce that one. Half a month later, on 4 April, she asked for leave from the school. The next day, she left China illegally. Wait, we have heard that before. Because she was arrested, right? And that is why she's here, right? In this file, the photo was taken July 2013, 2018. Seiragul South Bay sits inside the defendant cage during a hearing at a court in Zarkent, Kazakhstan. This picture is not from China. So it actually confirms exactly what the other ones also were saying, right? She is doing things illegally. Now, why would she actually cross the border illegally? Why didn't she just buy a ticket? Well, here's the answer. To set the record straight, first of all, Seiragul South Bay lied about her experience. She claimed to be a medical university graduate who had worked as a doctor, but the truth is she only attended nursing course at a vocational school in Ili and has never been a doctor. She initially said she was an instructor at an education and training center, but later claimed to be a victim interned and tortured, subjected to the medical experiment and forced to eat pork in the concentration camp. As a matter of fact, she was She has never worked or studied at any education and training center. Still less been subjected to any compulsory measure. Her whole account of the center is nothing but smear slander. Second, Sedago South Bay is a criminal suspect. On 5th of April 2018, she left China illegally, carrying a Chinese border pass. Her conduct violated the provisions of Article 322 of the Criminal Law of China on illegal border crossing. In June 2015 and December 2016, she obtained 2 loans, 470,000 yuan from the Rural Credit Cooperative of Chahanwusu Town, with forged real estate purchase contracts and a guarantor's signature and fake documents. To this day, she has yet to repay 398,000 yuan worth of debt. Her conduct violated the provisions of Article 193 of the Criminal Law of China on loan fraud. Due to her criminal offenses, she has been listed online as a wanted person by the public security authorities according to legal procedures. Third, Sedago South Bay has a record of dishonest behavior when she was head of the Central Kindergarten of Chahanwusu Town. She took advantage of her position and appropriated performance bonuses, which hurt the interest of her fellow colleagues. As a result, she was removed from office by the local education authorities in accordance with the law and with laws and regulations. Before illegally crossing the border, she talked her younger sister Panar into obtaining a loan worth 45,000 yuan and buying her car, but she never transferred ownership of the vehicle to Panar, much to Panar's resentment. Wow. That is the witness. Now, this is from china.org.cn, and it is up to you whether you believe it or not. But it seems to me that this is more likely to be the truth than whatever she said, that here she has been tortured and the other one she never saw violence. All of them are talking about her illegal border crossing, right? That's what they are talking here, about her illegal border crossings. And it is also in this article and in the other article. So I think that everybody agrees, and this is probably what she also admitted to. Now, why would somebody cross the border illegally? What's typically what people are doing? Typically criminals. What crimes could she ever have committed? Well, I think it would be exactly what they said in this article. Things to know about all the lies on Xinjiang. How have they come about? And this is, I think, more credible if we want to trust something. But anyway, I leave that up to you. I just wanted to mention that because I saw this great video about him mentioning, have you ever witnessed? And obviously she never witnessed. And then I thought it would be a nice idea to see what kind of witness they have, since she started about this study of supply chain risk related to Xinjiang forced labor. And then I saw that the witness was none other than this criminal right here. But again, it is up to you all to believe whatever it is that you want. I just wanted to make this video about it. This was your favorite half Chinese, and as always, have a great day.